Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. In this video, I'm going to talk about why real estate in general makes the average person broke. So, as you can see here, I have this Newsweek article from January 22nd, 2024, so really recent, about millennials regret buying homes. And if you do a Google search about how many people regret buying a home in 2023, I think it was 93%, right? So, if we scroll down here, let's go down here. It says a whopping 90% of millennials have regrets about their first home purchase, according to a new report. So, based on what reports that you see, a lot of people out there thinking that buying a home is some sort of a fantasy. And right there, it's like it's often not the homeowner's fantasy that they once dreamed of. And there's several reasons why. So, what the news article isn't directly related to what I'm going to talk about today, because people are pretty much forced into high interest rates. But I'm just going to talk about a little bit about buyer psychology. Okay, so if I go in here, there's really two things you can think of that will affect the monthly payment: the purchase price and the interest rate. Okay, so if you ever done like a 30-year mortgage amortization schedule, um, a lot of people will prefer overpaying and having a lower interest rate. Now, the term overpaying is all relative because the market price of anything is just what a buyer is willing to buy for, but a seller and the seller is willing to sell for, right? So most people, if you just give them like a apples to apples comparison, like, hey, let's say you have a budget for $300,000 home, they actually think, and again, this is like unfortunate, that the $200,000 home is beneath them, right? Which is why a lot of people won't go for that $200,000 home. Now, the price of a home has nothing to do with how good it is, right? So, for example, I could go to an area that's $30,000, and it's $30,000 because maybe it could be a relatively high crime area. But if I go to San Francisco and there's drugs and needles and crime, and I don't know if you remember the guy who found the Cash App, but he got murdered in front of his own condo or apartment, right? In San Francisco. You move that place to San Francisco, it's suddenly worth $1 million. So the price of a home, yes, it's somewhat related to how good it is, but not exactly, right? Because it's all about supply and demand, and the market value of anything is what a buyer is willing to buy and what a seller is essentially willing to sell for. Okay, so given that we've kind of already emphasized that, um, you just have to understand that most people, given the apples to apples property, will actually not go for this one. And I'll tell you why. So, first reason is I already talked about that. Reason number one: if you have a person, so a person with a 300K budget thinks the 200K house is beneath them, right? And that's the unfortunate downfall for people buying homes, right? And every other thing except real estate, it's always seen as a bad sign if the prices go up. Gas, groceries, everyday items. If they go up, oh my goodness, the world's going to end, right? If real estate goes up, right? If the price of real estate goes up, then it's like, wow, that's a really good thing. And so it will seep into the person's consciousness if they can buy a home for $300,000, and there's a home maybe across like another neighborhood across the street that's kind of very similar, but it's a $200,000 neighborhood. They're gonna think that $200,000 home is beneath them, right? So that's reason number one. And reason number two is they think if they get a lower interest rate, that's the same thing as taking advantage of the banks, right? It's really weird how that works. So where it's like, oh my goodness, you ever like hear people say, oh my goodness, I should never pay this off because I have such a low interest rate, right? But what if you were in so these two situations, where it's $300,000 purchase price and a 3% interest rate, and a $210,000 purchase price and a 6% interest rate give you the exact same monthly payment, right? I did this in my Google spreadsheets and trying to figure out like an equilibrium of what's the exact like purchase price and interest rate that will give you the same exact monthly payment. And so So it's like a combination of these two reasons are basically a home purchaser's downfall, right? Like I'm gonna overpay, but if I get a low interest rate, oh my goodness, why would I pay that off? It's like I'm getting free money, right? Whereas me, I would definitely always take option B because think about this. Let's say you buy a home, right? Same home, apples to apples, and you buy a home and you win the lottery tomorrow and you decide to pay off your home. Which one is going to be the immediate discount? Option B. The reason why option B is a discount is because interest is optional. The purchase price is always mandatory, right? There's a saying that says interest is basically rent on your money. Okay. And so if I get a loan and then pay this off tomorrow, right? I pay this off tomorrow. I essentially save $90,000, right? So again, um, most people don't think rationally about real estate and they get really excited to essentially overpay for it. And that's pretty much one of the main reasons why, our generation um, is pretty much, I don't know what it is. It's like we were brainwashed into two things. Number one, we were brainwashed to overpaying for college, and number two, we were brainwashed into overpaying for a home. So I just think it's funny how like the generations before us, especially the baby boomers, like they got homes at a steal. One person working, oh, you get a three bath, two bath home, and $70,000 in San Francisco, right? And then our generation's like, you get a $1 million two bed, two bath condo in San Francisco, right? But it's okay. I got a 3% interest rate. Oh my goodness, how would I pay that off? Oh, I don't even know how to process that. But here's the lucky thing, right? So there are ways to get homes at discounts, right? And so if you see here, I bought this property at the peak of the market on 2000 in 2022, and I got a $100,000 discount. So essentially, I'm in scenario B, right? And I actually have an 8% interest rate, but you know what? It's okay because if I do velocity banking or whatever, I can pay it off in like 3 to 4 years. And that's really exciting to have a fully paid off rental property in 3 to 4 years, right? Whereas if I did scenario one, yeah, interest rate is lower, but I'm not taking advantage of the banks. It's going to take me longer, and I end up paying more at the end, right? Because even though the interest is the same, if you just do the velocity banking calculations, it's about $40,000. You have to understand it's 40,000 plus the additional purchase price, right? It's 40 plus 90, whereas this is just 210 plus 40. This is 300 plus 40 because the purchase price is a minimum, whereas the minimum amount you have to pay, right? You win the lottery tomorrow, you pay it off. Whereas, this scenario, even if it's an 8-9% interest rate, who cares? The bank is not taking advantage of you. I definitely would, love to have a much lower purchase price, higher interest rate. I'll pay it off the same using velocity banking, but I'll save a lot more money because this is mandatory, right? This price is always mandatory. Think about winning the lottery. You win the lottery, pay off your home, you save this minus this, right? So again, now how do you basically find these deals? So this is what our plug is for a study group if you want to join. And again, we have a study group once a week. We have a curriculum that's unfortunately not going to be for life if you're trying to look into get into real estate. There is a lifetime educational package which I could get into it. And here's the thing: I'm going to charge $100 just to meet me. And the reason I'm going to do that is just because I need to focus on doing real estate myself. And the more that I have to essentially meet prospects to join the group, that's less time away from me doing real estate. But if you want to go ahead and join the group, go ahead and click the Google form link below. Now, here's the secret to finding these types of deals. The secret is find people who are distressed and need your help, right? So, one of my biggest regrets is why didn't I just do this with my own personal home? Now, I bought a new construction home that was brand new, and right now it's like 2 years old right now at like a $300,000 level with a very low interest rate. But man, I really wish that I bought a 210 at a higher interest rate, and I probably would have paid it off by now if that was my only home, right? But it's not, unfortunately. But I have like two loans one that I bought at full retail value at a low interest rate, and one that I bought um, for a high interest rate at a lower purchase price. And I regret not doing this for my own personal home because I think my own personal home would actually be paid off by now, even though it's only been 2 years since I got it. Right. But again, real estate is a source of pain for a lot of people because they don't know what they're getting into. Just like a lot of millennials or people my age and younger didn't know what they were getting into when they went into college, right? So college is like, I don't know, a big fat SCAM for younger generations than it was for the people who are a little bit older than I. But yeah, so here's the thing. If you're interested, and here's what makes me sad, right? I talk to a lot of people who say like, "Oh, I just bought a $400,000 home or $500,000 home," and it's just like, why, right? Get that 200 or $300,000 home. Don't overpay for it because overpaying for real estate, especially if it's not in proportion to your income, is going to be a very painful experience. And I don't know if you ever read those studies about like how in Los Angeles people actually spend 75% of their disposable income in Los Angeles. I don't even know how that's possible because I thought banks like enforce DTI ratios, but that's unfortunate. But again, so this is what our group focuses on: finding people who are distressed and need your help. And if you do that, they'll trade equity for a peace of mind. And that's how I did that. And I remember that when I went to closing, they said thank you, right? I love hearing the thank yous, but they also said this was the fastest real estate transaction that I've ever done. So you want to make sure that you're a professional as well. All right. Well, this is Korean Atlanta mentorship. So I don't know if I went into deep explanation about how why people will overpay for real estate, but again, real estate will make the average person broke because most people are trained to overpay for it, just like they'll overpay for college. And the way that you build wealth in real estate is getting at a discount. All right, well, have a great day, everybody, and we will speak next time.